Hello, everyone. Some of you may be wondering what skills or certificates that you can do or learn to become a subject matter specialist and get a really good job in this AML job market currently in 2025. So I'm going to explain you in those with no experience and those with experience in anti-money laundering and how they can make a career in anti-money laundering. So we're going to start with the certificates. There's the your typical certificates from America offered by the Association of Certified Financial Crime Specialists, Association of Certified Anti-Money Laundering Specialists, uh, ICA. These are the three main recognized ones. There are others as well that are currently offered like GOE, KS, or whatever. The certification cost or the fees are very low. Lots of Tom, Dick, and Harrys have done those certification. They are unfortunately not recognized in the job market. Lots of people do this just because they are affordable, but unfortunately, it's the American certifications offered by these two or the British certification offered by this one. Diplomas are the ones that are more recognizable in the international banking community. So, certificate will only help you land some job interviews. That's it. They do not guarantee any job. Those with AML experience, they help them to get promotion as well. Land some interviews. Plus, since they are already working, there are sometime requirement that they may be junior analysts or they may be managers. But in order for them to become a get a management position, or if they are in a management position, they need to get a senior position. The HR department expect them to do the certification so they get the timely promotion. So HR department of the banking financial institution usually sponsor the certification as well. But if you have never worked in anti-money laundering, so the certification that you're gonna do will only land you some job interviews while your certification is valid for 3 years. Okay. Second, if they expect you to have hands-on on the tools, different tools, transaction monitoring tools. The famous one is Mantas or FCCM. You need to have some experience in LexisNexis, uh, WorldCheck, to have some knowledge about some experience on uh, um, the SES or Actimize, and some KYC tools as well. If you want to access someone's KYC, you can do this through using using the core banking system as well. But you need to have a hands-on, and these people usually have the hands-on experience. They know how to use the tool. But the people who have never worked in anti-money laundering, they lack this. But unfortunately, there is no demo available anywhere. There is no user guide available anywhere. You just get this experience when you get a job, and it's not that difficult to get. There are no rocket science, so it just take a few weeks for you to get hold of it. What all the features of these tools that we usually use for transaction monitoring. This one is for sanction screening, and this one is for both transaction monitoring and sanction screening, and you can also use it for adverse media check as well. So it like you those with never worked in financial crime compliance like those, so they need to get a job in a hopefully in a tier 1 bank or tier 2 bank who have the updated tools available so that they can get their hands on. Third, especially if you have AML experience, requirement these days is to learn big data analytics. That's increasingly becoming a requirement because of the competition uh, that we are facing. Competition from the AI. The tools are being updated with the AI version, so they're going to do the whole detection, prevention, correction end to end themselves. And also these days people are very technical. Some of them are so much technically sound. They have so much really good technical analysis, tech, very unique or difficult analytical skills. So you're competing with those people, and especially the young ones who already know the Python, the language R, the SQL, no SQL, because they studied in their school, university, and colleges. So it's mandatory for you to learn these days if you have experience in order to get the promotion from analyst level to management level to senior management level, and then to unit head and so on. You need to know your big data analytics, and this big data analytics also helps lower your bank's false negative as well. That your transaction monitoring tool is unable to identify, that you can identify yourself, or because of the downtime, because of the lack of system testing, you should be able to identify them themselves, or there is a issue of working with the inexperienced staff, and they are able to make some wrong decisions. When you're doing quality check, you should be able to perform quality check quickly using the big data analytics, and also be able to review your L3 L2 investigations on your own. So as a management, in order to move to a management position or to the senior management position, you in order to move to a AVP, VP, or SVP these days, you need to you know your big data analytics. These days, with people with no experience, these days you need to know, unfortunately, big data analytics in order to get your entry level job. Competition is so high that if you don't have this big data analytics in addition to your certification, you're not going to start in AML. Unfortunately, you're going to start at KYC, and any Tom, Dick, and Harry can get a KYC job these days. Unfortunately, you do not need to do the certifications. You're going to end up spending so much, thousands of dollars, and you will not get a job just because you have a certification if you don't have a big data analytics or an analytical technical analytical skills. So while you're preparing for the certification, you need to learn your data analytics. That's what I've been training or requesting my trainees to do so as well. I guide them how to learn SQL, NoSQL, Python, language R for the extraction, transformation, and loading in one of the training sessions. Been doing this for the last 3 years in every batch. So if you're not part of my training program, you should learn. Otherwise, you're going to suffer. You won't be able to start your career these days with the competition that we have currently. Those with experience need to know, those with no experience need to know as well in the current job market. You need to know the best practices these days if you want to be part of the uh, policy drafting team who do the policy drafting. And your big data analytics also help you to fine tune the thresholds and any debugging on your tools, working with your vendor, they also help with that. So if you know the best practice, it helps with the policy drafting in addition to your anti-money laundering laws and regulation. That is implied, that is a must for every for anyone to start their career. The anti-money, you can easily download your anti-money laundering law, all the different laws that came out, and the regulation from your central bank laws, whichever the governmental website it is, and give it to ChatGPT and ask the ChatGPT to summarize it into one page, or for each law, each regulation to one page, and just go through that the pointers of it. It's not that difficult. In order for you to prepare yourself for the interview, especially if you're starting your career, you need to know these things. You need to must know those things if you have experience in those best practices, because when you move to a management position or senior management position, you're part of the team that are working go to improve procedural frameworks and the policy drafting as well. So you may not be required to do this, but as a, with no experience, but it's give you edge in the job market. So I covered the best practices related to the Wolfsburg Group, Basel Committee, Egmont, and so on. That helps you know that things that may not be used by your bank, may not be being implemented in your banking industry, but knowing those things help you become an AML specialist. Okay, next is you're supposed to have in addition to you're knowing the big data analytics, which is a advanced level, ultra level thing, that if you have no idea what is Excel is, or you have never worked in Excel, so you have to know Excel and advanced level Excel, where you can not just use your uh, pivot tables or something, you can use your macros. So it gives you some analytical skills, but unfortunately, and knowing advanced Excel doesn't give you any edge in job market. Is a basic requirement every these days. It's mandatory for you to know those things, how to use your Excel for re- removing the noise, wrangling the data, extracting the data in the CSV format, and then wrangling the data and analyzing the data. But when you analyze the data on Excel, unfortunately, that's not where you are your level of analytical skills that are technical these days. You need to be analyzing your data using Python language, or be cleaning the data using that as well. So those things are that you learn in big data analytics is are the ones that are usually required these days. This is your common knowledge. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry these days knows Excel. If you don't know this Excel, and if you want to start your career in anti-money laundering, before you start applying for the job, before you pass your exam, you need to know those things, so that when you apply for a job, you're well prepared for it, because your three years of your certification validity is gonna pass very quickly, and you won't be up. And when you're applying for a job and you don't show them those sort of skills, unfortunately, you may not have this skill, you may not have the policy drafting, but something that you can do at least is learn those skills that I'm going to mention, so have mentioned so far, and that the one that I'm going to mention in a few minutes as well, in order to increase your chance of being hired. Otherwise, if you think that is just passing the exam will help you start your career, you're going to start your career as a nurse position, which is a KYC position, which is not working in compliance. Okay. Next, when you have done this, these sort of things, for my AML specialist these days, the number of alerts that we have to go through, the aging analysis and so on, working with the internal audit departments, and working with the quality assurance teams as well. So you have to do, unfortunately, some uh, late night sitting. You have to stay, burn the midnight oil. You have to do the some late sittings. Unfortunately, this is expected. Management position, senior management and junior position is unfortunately it's a yes, it's a mandatory these days. You have to do that, working 12 hours, sometime working on weekends as well. There's just too many alerts, but high aging alerts cases everywhere. So you need to, unfortunately, in this field, there is no way for you to leave your work at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. You have to prepare yourself to be working late, unfortunately, sometime in on weekends as well. Uh, Expectation from a remote job, um, any possibility, any chance of getting a remote job? Unfortunately, no. uh, Especially no when you start in your career. There may be here, if you have worked um, in AML quite some time, and there are some from uh, outsourcing from US banks, or banks in UAE, who like to outsource to different companies in India, Philippines, or XYZ different countries. So you may be able to, but you have to fulfill all of these criteria to be able to convince them. You need to have some sort of age for them to hire you. Your certification will not help you. You have to show them something extra, which is thoroughly becoming an AML specialist, not just doing some certification, have some few years of experience. You have lots of uh, you have be part of lots of exercises, assignments that your bank have delegated you, which gave you lots of exposure, which will help you when you apply for a new job. Work, especially working for the American or the UAE banks, they want, when they interview you, they evaluate you, all of those. Otherwise, your chances of working in a remote job is very low. Okay, next one, you have to experience in drafting, not just policy drafting. You have to do in general lots of draftings, especially your STR or SAR drafting, alert disposition notes drafting, disposition, and we have to do some RFI drafting as well. So your skills are must in drafting, are required in drafting. How good your English language writing skills, vocabularies, and be able to say the right thing, ask the right thing. Uh, Usually comes with experience, but if you have already working somewhere and you don't have those experience on email drafting, RFI, request for information, or disposition notes, and so on, you're gonna struggle here. While you're working here, you can learn your drafting skills, how your senior analysts, your line managers, your senior managers, how they draft the STR narratives, how they draft their disposition notes, and how they draft the questions of the RFI. You need to know those things in order to get a better job in AML. And this is a requirement, especially these days. They perform written assessment when you're applying for your job for the first time. uh, Before they invite you for the interview, they send you a written assessment questions. HR department send you that you have to respond back in 1 hour the email that you receive from them. And in those written assessment, they evaluate your red flags identification skills, they evaluate your risk-based approach skills, and also your drafting skill, how you have drafted the question and either the STR narrative or the disposition notes or the RFI. So you have to improve on that. Unfortunately, the market that we are in, job market currently, is just expectation these days is just too high. I mean, let me show you an example. So the your examiner's expectation may not be that high these days. If you just gonna do some minimum efforts to just pass your exam with 75 marks or something, you won't be able to meet the regulatory the your recruiters, your interviewers expectation, your job market expectation. That's why I cover in the 50 hours of training more than what your examiners provided. Material, study material, plus the some CPD's training session help you match the recruiting expectation. So last one is your red flags identification skills and your risk based approach skill. How you can categorize different or level different customers when you are reviewing so many of them every day, uh, and how you can identify the right flags from a right customer, which I call it in certain customer do certain things in a certain way. So if you have experience, you would know that who your usual suspects are and how you can identify them. So this is a must for those, since they have experience, that which customers are famous for doing what activities, so that when you review their transaction letter, non-transaction letter, and be able to identify the right customers, even though they may be manipulating you, even though they may be creating some noises, you should be able to identify noises from their manipulation. I explain this in my training sessions, that when someone is trying to create lots of noises, how you can focus on avoid the noise and focus on the transaction that they're trying to perform, and which they do not want you to identify. So there are different ways that explain in my training session, the examples, and to help people to change their mindset, so when they apply for a job, they sound like an AML specialist, and they are able to score the job that they're looking for with a better salary, with a better designation. So these are the 10 different things that you're supposed to know in order to this is it may be not must, since you have no experience in the risk based approach, but you need to know the red flags identification skills when you apply for your first job as a junior analyst. So unfortunately, they're not gonna match your salary, they're not gonna match your designation, because AML experience is a AML job is much more technical. If you're working somewhere and you expect them to match your salary, and as that's not going to happen, you have to start with a demoted position. But you can quickly move if you are able to show them this, and there is a demand for AML specialist. If you are technically sound, there's always job opportunities for people to hire you. If you are you're not stuck in doing just BAU, business as usual, lots of different things. So what people usually do, especially these ones, they just do this, and then they expect that the job market is going to start offering them high skill, high salary jobs. Unfortunately, they forgot about the nine different things that they are supposed to do as well, especially in the current market that we have, with so much AI advancement and so much competition of the people who already have these things, or already have most of these things. If you're not going to have these things, you won't be able to start your career. If you're just going to rely on the certification, if you have the experience, and if you feel that this is enough, I know something about the regulations, I can do some late sittings, but I am not good at Excel, I don't have any big data analytics, I have no experience in policy drafting, I would like to get a job, a remote job. I should be able to, I don't know about the about narratives. That's what my line manager does. But I can draft some disposition notes. But my RFIs are already quality checked, and but my alerts are assigned. Alerts are prioritized by the transaction monitoring tool that we use, so I do not need to use the risk based approach myself. And also the alerts are identified by the transaction monitoring tool. I do not need to identify any suspicious activities. Unfortunately, you're going to struggle if you have experience in this. You are expected to lower your bank's false negative. One example that I want to show you, that I give in my training session, is that one you have to, when you're performing the reasonable investigation as an experienced AML analyst or manager, you should be able to identify the unidentified suspicious activity that were not identified by the your AML tool. The example I gave here is that your tool is the outdated tool, or is not up to date with the recent changes, recent topologies. And the second one is that you can identify their suspicious activity, but you are unable to form a suspicion. You are unable to report the customer, unable to close the account as well. So that's what struggle. But I've trained over 3,000 people in 48 different batches now. My 49th batch starts on 21st of June. So that's what I have seen in training 3,000 people in different batches from 94 different countries. These are 95 countries. So people struggle. They just look for, these are all the batches from different, number of participant, number of months that they have, the month the batch started. So what I observe, that people who do not have the right mindset, they just, people who are sensitive, people who are lazy, unfortunately they struggle. Either they belong to this category or this category. If you're not fulfilling this, you won't be able to get the what you and me are hoping for, which is high salary, high pay. You're hoping that it comes with the designation as well, it comes with the management position as well, or senior management position. That's how you secure your job. When you become indispensable to your organization, you reach a level where your boss thinks twice before firing you, because you are indispensable, you are necessary, you are important to the team. Doesn't matter what is the AI advancements are and whatever this is required is, you are reached at a very high level. And for that, you need to know these things. And that's not asking too much. There's you need to do fine tunings as well. You need to be part of QA reports, QA liaison with the law enforcement agency, with the internal auditors as well. There are some exercises that we perform regularly, like when we are implementing the new tool, we need to check that it's a quality check. We need to perform some testing before we have it implemented for the possible future downtime. So if you don't have those skills, you're gonna struggle. No one's gonna just see that CV experience and just hire you. They assess in multiple rounds of interview. So if they do not see you that you're not the right person for the Bank of America or Chase Bank or HDFC Bank or Axis Bank or Mashik Bank or First Abu Dhabi Bank or HSBC Bank, they're not gonna hire you. Those tier one banks are not interested in hiring you. So please, just do not. Purpose of making this video is just, please do not do the certificates thinking that they will automatically improve your job, thinking that you're doing Harvard University degree. It requires you to do lots of things. So when you're spending thousands of dollars in doing a certificate which will only land you some interviews, you need to do in addition to those things as well. Especially if you have experience, unfortunately you may not be able to do so, but you can cover at least the rest of those things. So I in the 50 hours plus in the CPDs that I conduct, continuing professional development training sessions, that helps people build their career technically and improve their understanding and prepare themselves for the job interview. These are the training sessions I've done so far the last 3 years, like drafting RFIs, behavior detection runs, investigating the high aging alerts, FedCA compliance, risk tolerance in anti-money laundering, internal audit reports, defensive STRs, best usage of risk-based approach, detecting proliferation financial policy drafting, QA, and misuses of investigative programs, drafting risk appetite statement, and so on. This comes with free of cost when you join the 50 hours of training. This CPDs comes, continuing professional development training sessions come free of cost for you to join live when you paid for the 50 hours of training. So kindly don't fall for any scam, someone telling you that you just need to do the certificate and the jobs are guaranteed, or you will be able to switch your jobs. When you have experience, they have high expectation from you when they interview, during the interview. And if you are unable to pass the interview, you just wasted your thousands of dollars on doing this. When you have AML experience, no AML experience, they still have lots of expectation from you before they hire you, because they do not want to hire someone and then train those people. they may not they may not expecting you to know those tools, but they know other things from you, so that you do not need to be trained, so you are at least close to being a finished product. If you're not a finished product, you're close to being a finished product, and you do not require that much AML training. So kindly don't fall for any scams out there. Do not perform any low efforts when you spending thousands of dollars. You have to do lots of efforts in addition to spending your money in order to improve your career. You can find me on YouTube. Plenty of people from different countries who have shared their experience of attending the 50 hours of training program. And find out the latest batch whenever you're watching it. There are plenty of videos on different topics that will help you understand what is expected of the job market. So many people have from different countries have given their reviews to how they found their career improve, how they were able to land a better job, the training session, after attending the training session and passing the certificate. And find their videos, and also find me on LinkedIn as well. There are plenty of people who have sent me, or have sent the connection request, have spoken with me, and asked for the guidance at the right time. So try to join before 17th of June, so that you get a early bird discount. Next batch is starting on 21st, or whenever you're watching the batch. This is my 49th batch. I've done the started the 48 different batches. So people pay me, they join the training because they find it value for money, and it helps them improving their career. But I'm very strict person, because spending thousands of dollars is not enough. I want to improve your mindset, and also help you become an AML specialist, so that you can get a job on your own. I do not provide any job placement assistance. I do not provide any job resume building, and also I do not prepare you for the interviews. 50 hours of training in group training session help you prepare for all of those things, so that you can get the job on your own without asking anyone's or any help. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you make the right decision, what is requested of you, expected of you in the job market in 2025, and do the right thing for your career, and do not end up wasting your time and money. Okay, have a good day. You can send me a text on WhatsApp or email, find the fees. Take care. Bye.